Hey guys, welcome back to Maelstrom Gaming Studios. I'm Craig.
And I'm Connor.
And today we have another Grey Knight deep dive for you. Today we are going over the Chaplain and all of his litany goodness in the Grey Knight Codex. Stick around, we're going to go deep into his profile, every litany, pros and cons, and see if there are ways to make a Chaplain a usable and powerful character for your Grey Knight army. Please subscribe if you're looking forward to this. We are so close to 1,000. Maybe we've passed it by the time this posts, maybe not. We've got a big video. If you can tell, we're a little lower setting right now. We're on set as we were preparing to do the next big video. Without further ado, let's just hop right into this video.
Woo! Alright guys, so as Craig said, we are doing the Chaplain deep dive. Now today we're going to be covering his data sheet, Relics and Warlord traits that I think would be good for him. There's a couple important rules to know before we go into the litanies. Then we'll do the litanies, the pros and cons of all of them, and our final thoughts on the Chaplain overall.
Alright. So his profile is pretty standard. He is the same as all other Terminator chaplains in the Space Marine codexes.
Has to be a Terminator.
Terminator, yes. You do not get a power armor option with him. So he's got a Stormbolter, he's got his Crozius, he's got Frag and Crack Grenades, which I don't know if you ever really need to use with him. He is 110 points, which I'm not sure how it stacks up against the other ones.
It's a little more
I think he's a little more because he is technically a Psyker.
He has the psychic stuff, yeah.
But standard 2+ weapon skill, 3+ ballistic skill, strength, toughness 4, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9, and a 2-up save.
Yeah.
He's got a couple special rules. Obviously, he has the Knights of Titan, which is, you know, the Grey Knight generic rules. Teleport Strike, which is nice. You can deep strike this one, unlike other, well, no, all Terminator ones you can deep strike.
Seems right.
Never mind. He's got his spiritual leaders. So Korth and 6 inches of this model can use his leadership.
Just nice.
It's nice. I don't know how often it'll come up, but you know, you never know.
Yeah.
And 4-up invuln save. There really isn't anything different to say about this except for the fact that he can attempt to manifest 1 psychic power and deny psychic power in addition to doing his litanies. Which
is where his extra points come in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 110 points, by the way.
110.
Yeah.
So that is the profile for him. So we'll get into some relics and warlord traits you might want to equip on your Chaplain.
Yeah. So with the Chaplain, in the Grey Knight's Codex, 4 attacks, which is what he has, is actually low.
It is low, yeah, I was gonna say.
When I was thinking about what you might want to take on him, I pretty much went for survivability and support stuff.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
So first off, we've got the Curus of Sacrifice. You can only do it on an infantry model. It gives him +1 save and a 5+ essentially feel no pain.
Okay.
It's great.
That's good. That basically gives him the 1-up save, so he ignores AP -1.
Yeah, and 5-up feel no pain, you can't really get that almost anywhere else in the Codex, so...
So he already has it for mortal wounds, right?
Yep.
But now he's got it for all damage.
Exactly.
Very tanky.
Yeah. Next one is Gyrotemporal Vault, which is quite the word. It's a psychic action, warp charge 5. It essentially lets a Grey Knight core or Grey Knight character within 3 inches of him fight first.
Okay.
So... Again, support.
If you're playing him support, yeah, you're going to want him up with your combat units that he's supporting anyway.
Yep.
So that's just another ability to tack onto him. I like it. That's very good.
And the third one I thought might be good as far as relics go is Cantu Vambrace. I don't know how to say it. But once again, it's infantry only, and it makes it so that you have a 4+ from mortal wounds.
Okay.
A lot. And -1 damage to a minimum of 1.
That's nice. The -1 damage is pretty good.
So pretty much just trying to keep him alive longer.
Yeah. If you know what you're going up against, maybe, I know I don't like to say tailor towards your opponent, but if you know your opponent's bringing psychic heavy, maybe take the Cantu over the Curus if you want durability.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're all pretty good.
Yeah, and other than those three, I mean, there's more you could give him, but I don't. He's not very fighty.
Don't waste him on your chaplain.
And he also has one cast, so he's not going to take the other psychic ones, really.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
He's got a couple Warlord traits. Unyielding Anvil. That's a classic one. Again, this really techs into that support.
Yep.
The Grey Knight core and Grey Knight characters within 6 inches have Obsec. And if they already have it, they count as 2. I can see that being paired very well with the Vault.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Psychic action. Yeah. So now you got a really big, durable bubble.
That are fighting first. Yeah.
And they've got Obsec. They're really not going to give up an objective. His other one you could do, Vanguard Aggression, is the Blades of Victory one.
Yep.
Warlord and the Grey Knight core unit within 9 inches can make a normal move of up to 6 inches after deployment.
And as we said before, that includes Terminators. So you
can. So you can move them 6 inches, even though their movement is only 5.
Yep.
And you can move him on top of that. Now, I don't know. This Connor's made I don't know what the litanies are, but maybe that'll become helpful. You're 6 inches closer. You can cast your litany and get closer to combat.
Absolutely.
So we'll look at the litanies and see how those come into play. But that one I can see that one being very good as well.
It is, yeah.
Last one is Divination, the Prescient Brethren one. Psychic action, just gain a CP on Warp Charge 6.
I mean, he's already a support guy. Why not make him support you even more?
Yeah. Because you can pay command points to give extra warrior traits in the Grey Knight Codex, I think depending on your army, it would make sense to give him one of these.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you can have your Grandmaster Dread Knight, because you're probably going to take one of those.
Probably going to make him your Warlord.
But if you're not taking one of those or not making him your Warlord, then this would be a great support to kind of help out the backline while the Grandmaster Dread Knight goes and does his thing.
Even if you are making him your Warlord, you can give 2 to him, and I believe you can also give another one to someone else.
You take out some CP there, but I mean,
exactly.
the Divination one,
you're going to be gaining it back if you
could gain one. You can get it back right away.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. So some important rules.
Yeah, there's just 3 things I think we need to make sure everyone knows before we go over all the litanies in depth. First of all Grey Knight chaplains know the Litany of Expulsion, which is the first one we'll go over. Okay. And then you can take one other litany from the list, which we'll go over.
Okay.
It works the same as all other chaplain stuff. You can attempt to inspire, I believe is how they phrase it, on a 3-up every turn in your command phase. There is a 2 CP strat to auto-inspire. I believe all Space Marines have that. And in the recent FAQ for Grey Knights, they specified, which we never would have even thought of, but they have to be litanies from your own book, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know why that needed to be said, but it was said.
Words in 40K are important, so
that's true.
Yeah.
And then finally, the Tide of Convergence, it's one of our tides, but 2 of the litanies are affected by it. So I thought I would go over it. It's add 6 inches to the range of your psi weapons, and then Nemesis weapons deal a mortal wound on an unmodified wound roll of a 6. It is our best tide, in my opinion, and like I said, it affects a couple of the litanies.
Now this is also the one that was FAQ'd.
It's in.
He's got it covered.
Yeah.
All right. There's an FAQ. If you guys haven't heard about, I guess we're going to cover it here too.
We will.
All right. So let's go into the first litany,
which is the stock one.
The stock one they always know.
Yep.
You can't trade it out.
No.
Okay.
They always know this.
Always know the Litany of Expulsion. So if this litany is inspiring, then while a friendly Grey Knight core or character unit is within 6 inches of the priest, each time a model knight unit makes a melee attack, you can reroll the hit roll. Okay, so it's exactly the same as the Space Marine one, just has a different name.
Exactly.
Okay, that's good. Rerolling failed hit rolls is great.
Especially for Grey Knights, I feel like, your entire army is essentially close combat.
Core.
Yeah, and core, yeah.
Core. Paladins are core.
Paladins are core. Wow, I didn't write that down, but that's true.
Paladins are core.
Yeah,
need some rerolls to them.
That's a really good
Not that they really need it because they're hitting on 2s.
But you never.
But if you pair it with your big hammer squad.
Or, even just the, if you give the Paragon a hammer.
That's true. That helps them out there.
I didn't write that, but that's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pros, that helps out Paladins. One of the only ways to give characters, that's true, characters.
I mean, your Dread Knight, if you have the hammer on him,
You would love that.
It's a way to re-roll when you have the hammer.
Drago, yeah, you get the Drago's ability, because it is all of them.
Right, it's Drago's ability, but it is everyone within 6 inches of him. That's core or character, but it's, you have to cast it.
You got to get it off.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, yeah, it can be used effectively.
Yeah.
Overall, 7 out of 10, I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, the only real con I could think of for it is that your Grandmasters already give you the reroll ones to hit, so sometimes it might be overlapping and a waste of points, sort of.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's 7 out of 10.
When I use my Black Dragons or Salamanders, I use this one on my Chaplain all the time, or the equivalent one. I use it more than any other one, just because getting those rerolls is so nice.
It's just your tried and true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is the big boy, as you will find out, and as you can see from the power rating at the bottom there. But
oh boy,
we're gonna go over it in depth because, as Craig said, it was FAQ'd. So this is the original wording for it, minus the stuff in parentheses. If this litany is inspiring, select one Grey Knight core unit or Grey Knight character unit within 6 inches of this priest. Each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack with a nemesis weapon, an unmodified wound roll of a 6 wounds the target in additional time. So that's good. So every wound roll of 6 is actually 2 wounds.
2 wounds.
So below that, you see I wrote stacks with Tide of Convergence, 2 mortal wounds on 6s. Now, this is where they needed the FAQ because there was just a lot of words.
It got powerful too.
It got extremely powerful. So now with the FAQ, this is how it actually works. The FAQ clarified that this gives an additional mortal wound on an unmodified wound roll of a 6 when in the Tide of Convergence. It does not have a cap.
Does not.
So you'll see the second bullet point here. The Tide of Convergence has a cap of 6 mortal wounds. So when this power and the Tide of Convergence are happening at the same time with a squad, I think this is how you'd have to do it. You'd have to have 2 separate pools of mortal wounds while you do the combat. Because the Tide mortal wounds, you can only have 6 of. But if you tech into this, which I have lower on here, you could get more than 6 wounds from the Litany.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So, it's specifically an enemy unit cannot suffer 6 mortal wounds.
From the Tide.
From the Tide.
Correct.
So, yeah, if you split your attacks, you can do obviously more than 6 if they're on different units.
Well, I was saying even on the same unit,
you would have to split them up.
Yeah, you just have to keep your mortal wounds separated based on how you got them.
Yeah, that's
how I interpret the FAQ.
That makes sense.
So, yeah. Basically, I guess we'll continue here.
Yeah, keep going.
Into it. This litany, this is just my thoughts on it. The pros are that while this litany is being used with Tide of Convergence, it is probably the most damage in the entire codex.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kill,
anything.
If you add the Rapier's psychic power, which is +1 attack for 1 unit, if you use Hammer Hand on that same unit, and you can, by using a 1 CP stratagem, Mental Focus, you can cast an extra power.
Yeah.
If you do that with a strike squad, with falchions, the mortal, I didn't do the math, but I mean, we could, or maybe someone in the comments could. You could kill so much stuff.
I think I remember when this first came out, they're saying that a strike squad could drop a knight with mortal wounds.
I think you could. If you roll really hot, because you have an extra attack from falchions, extra attack from rapiers, you're re-rolling all of your wounds with Hammer Hand.
Yeah.
So it has the potential to be extremely powerful. The only real downside is that you have to do like 4 things to get that combo off.
It is a lot of eggs in one basket to pull that off.
Right. But it's not like it's always going to be on 1 unit. You can do it to
multiple units.
Different strike squads every turn.
Yeah, I mean, it's powerful. There's nothing you can really deny about that. It is a little weird with the wording and how it happened with the FAQ, and it's not, even though they did FAQ it, it's still not crystal clear.
I think it's clear enough, though.
It's clear enough. I think everybody gets the point of what it should be.
Really complicated. It'll be annoying when you do that, but I rated it 10 out of 10.
I would say so too.
Because even, I say this at the end when we final thoughts, but I think even without the combo, it's totally usable.
Absolutely.
Very strong.
Yeah, so that's words of power. It's all downhill from here now.
It is. It really is.
So the next one, Intonment. I can read. English is my first language. Intonment of Guidance.
Yeah.
Select one Grey Knight core character unit within 6 inches. Each time the selected unit makes a ranged attack, ignore all ballistic skill modifiers.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? It's not great. It's not bad though. Could be useful.
Now, I have a question for you. I actually should have asked Craig this before. Is that true? Is that what
the second bullet point?
The venom throw, is that what that's referring to? Right? -1 to hit.
Oh.
Is that what that means?
Each time, ignore all ballistic. Yeah, it would ignore
that. Is what that means.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah, here, you can continue with it.
So aside from Dread Knights, Grey Knight generally do not rely on shooting to get the job done, yes. But you can get -1 Venom Thropes. So yes, Venom Thropes and Malanthropes for you Tyranid players.
Yeah.
We do grant bubbles of -1 to hit.
Right.
They would ignore that.
It would counteract
it. Would counteract that. It would also counteract what I'm thinking of, although you have to do this in the command phase.
Yeah.
I was thinking Purifiers. Not Purifiers. Or Purifiers.
With hammers?
Purifiers with hammers. No, but this is ballistic skill.
You're right. Never mind. Forget the hammers.
I was thinking of Purgation Squad with their... Because they can move and shoot then without penalty.
Wow, okay.
They can but the problem is you have to do it...
So you couldn't deep strike
You
them.
can't deep strike and do it because you have to select them in the command phase.
That's always what happens to me with a Purgation Squad is I figure out like a little combo and then I'm like, oh, but you can't deep strike.
But you can't do that.
You can't.
Now... There's one Space Marine chapter, I think is Dark Angels, which lets you recite a litany in the shooting phase or something.
That is strong.
So you can do that. I was thinking, but you don't have anything like that.
Nope.
Yeah, so I think it's not great. But if you can somehow, are any of the weapons assault weapons on they're all heavy weapons.
They're all heavy.
Shoot.
The Incinerator, Silencer, and Side Cannon are all heavy across the board.
Yeah, unfortunately with the Chaplain having to do that in the command phase, I don't see a lot of much play for it.
And that's why, well, I guess I'll say, it's best used in the Sword Bearers Brotherhood because that's where you're using mostly Dread Knights and probably a Land Raider if you take a Land Raider. Mm-hmm. But even with that, I rated it a 3 out of 10, maybe a 4 if you find a specific use for it.
If you guys can think of a way to work around that, it's just, I don't know what else you could, because none of your units really take penalties to move and fire heavy weapons besides the Purgation Squad.
I mean, all my power armor does, but you're not taking side cannons on.
I mean, you wouldn't use this for one side cannon or 2 side cannons, yeah.
No, and yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not a fan. I wish you could pull it off for the Purgation Squad. Give them something else to work with.
I mean, you could... Here's something you could do. You could use that in the command phase on a Purgation Squad and then Gate of Infinity them.
Oh!
I just thought of that.
I like that.
Now...
I like that. There you go.
Yeah, that's actually...
We'll save that.
That's the only way I can think of
Save that in your head, and we'll use that for when we do a deeper dive into the Purgation Squad.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, we could find some more tools for that.
I like that. Okay, so the next one, Psalm of Purity, is an aura.
Mm-hmm. While friendly Grey Knight core and Grey Knight characters are within 6 inches of this priest, every unmodified wound roll of a 6 from a ranged attack has its AP increased by -1.
Okay.
It's on 6s though.
It's only on 6s.
Unmodified wounds. Yeah, here, we'll continue. So similar to the litany we just talked about, it just doesn't do that much, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It could be useful in a 10-man squad, probably a strike squad, with, here's what I was thinking. So it's a 10-man strike squad that get deep struck and or have a buff from Drago, so they reroll everything. And maybe if you're really going for it, the Prescient Brethren psychic power or strat that lets you reroll wound rolls of one, or Captain. And basically what you could use it for is shooting tanky elite infantry. So I wrote down Blade Guard, Custodes, Death Guard Terminators, because it would make it so that without using Cybolt ammunition, which is a lot of CP.
Could you stack this with Cybolt?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could stack it with set, but then you're getting into...
You're getting a lot in there.
It's expensive. Basically, it would make it so that they would have to take a couple of 3-up saves instead of 2-up saves from a bunch of Stormbolter shots.
Yeah, I could see maybe
That's what I thought.
you could pair it with maybe 4... Oh, you could pair that with your Flamers. Your Flamers are 6s to... or AP -1, right?
Yeah.
So there you're already ignoring the hit because you auto hit.
Point. Yeah, you're...
6s to wound are AP -2 on the Flamers.
That's a great point. I didn't think of that. So maybe, I mean, that's another Purgation squad possibility.
Purgation or Purifier squad.
Yeah.
You could run the whole 10-man Purifier and split them up.
Yeah.
Maybe, and then you could do the whole teleporting thing again.
Yeah. That would...
It's a lot of eggs in one basket.
And it's very like you have to do.
And then
that
once
one
you
thing.
do it, then he's used that litany. He's probably not going to do it again.
That's a good point.
Maybe he'll do it again.
It's like a 1 or 2 time use litany at best. So then maybe you just use Litany of Expulsion.
That's true.
That.
That's still good. You still have it, and that's a fine one.
I don't want it that bad. I don't want to use this one that bad. Another point to add is there's a stratagem called Psychic Onslaught for 1 CP. It's one of the first ones listed. It gives a Grey Knight Psyker unit +1 strength, -1 AP to their psi weapons. Not bolt weapons, just psi weapons.
So you can do it on silencers.
Yeah. I feel like this, if you're trying to make your psi weapons work, the stratagem's probably your better bet because it's only 1 CP. That's cheap for Grey Knights.
Yeah, I think that silencers are 5 shots apiece, 4 shots apiece.
The small ones?
The small ones.
No, they're less. I think they're only 3 shots apiece. Ready?
They're only 3 shots apiece now.
Let's find out. 6 shots apiece. Never mind.
So, okay, so you take 4 silencers, and you give them that, and you give them that the wound to 6. You give AP 3 shots there.
A couple. That's the thing is...
It's a couple.
I don't think it would even be overpowered if this was all wound rolls getting +1 AP. I mean, maybe you're getting into overpowered territory there.
If they couldn't stack with Psychic Onslaught or something.
How about that? You make it so it can't stack with anything else and you just...
Yeah, that's the way... Unfortunately, it's just the way a lot of litanies are. They have a niche trick, but that's about it.
So you can use it in any brotherhood. Doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah. All right, so Refrain of Convergence. So select 1 unit within 6 inches of this priest. That unit is no longer affected by any enemy psychic powers and cannot be affected by enemy psychic powers for your next command until your next command phase.
Yeah.
It has to be a friendly unit, right?
Correct.
Okay. So make sure you couldn't just like debuff an enemy. That would be really cool.
Oh.
Like, for me, if I have like Catalyst on something, just say, that's gone.
Yeah, so the actual, I try to paraphrase it a little bit in here, but you're right. Here we go. So select 1
unit. Doesn't say enemy or friendly.
Oh.
So
it's even better than I thought it was.
So if you're up against a psychic heavy army, now it's only 6 inches. So you got to be in combat with them.
Oh, that's where
you got to be up close to them.
So it's much easier to use it on your own guys, obviously. Yeah. But I did not think of that at all.
So you could use it to ignore a negative psychic power on you.
Which is seems like the main way to
That's what I would, but...
it just says unit.
I'm thinking Eldar, their Doom. You put that in there? Yep. Demons, Tyranids, yeah.
Thousand Suns.
Thousand Suns have got some now.
Yeah. So it's super strong against the armies he just listed.
Yes.
The problem is half the armies don't use any psychic ever.
So again, if you know you're going up against a psychic heavy army,
But
this might be something worth, because I can tell you, if I was playing Tyranids and you could just turn off Catalyst after I worked so hard to get it on,
especially if like, you know, you rolled high and avoided my denial, like
that would be worth 2 CP to auto cast that.
Absolutely.
To just turn Feel No Pain off on one of my monsters, because
Yep.
that is, in most cases, the only save I have against your weapons.
Yeah, but you don't want to tailor your list.
You don't. But, I mean, I get some people, and you see this all the time. Someone's like, hey, I'm playing somebody on, you know, on Saturday. All I know is they're bringing Grey Knights, or all I know is they're playing Eldar. What should I look out for? You know, anything I should maybe bring?
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it. I don't.
Yeah.
I like bringing all comers list, but at the same time, if you just want to have just a little bit of an edge, that's mean.
It's very mean. Also, this might be a really, I don't know, because it would be so good. I'm thinking like a tournament.
Other Grey Knights.
Other Grey Knights, thousands. I mean, it'd be such a big deal to have this, but what about Words of Power? You know, like with.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to rank this one because of the
swinginess of it.
like. Sometimes it won't matter at all, and sometimes it will change the whole game.
Against a psychic heavy or even medium army,
Yep.
I would put this like a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Which is why I gave it a 6.
Yeah, and everything else at 0.
Right. I was debating with it, but it has the potential to be so strong.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's a really great
Okay, cool.
Yep. And we go back down. The Recitation of Projection. Select a Grey Knight core or Grey Knight character unit within 6 inches of the priest. Add 6 inches to the range of their bolt weapons and psi weapons. Now, it gets a little confusing. If the Tide of Convergence is dominant, only add 3 inches more to the psi weapons.
Okay.
Because it already
Adds
improves it by 6. So, that being said, the combo makes it so that one unit will have 33 inches on their psi weapons. So again, another possible thing that could make purgation squads better.
It seems to be a common theme that Chaplain is there to help out your purgation squad.
He definitely can. And I mean, this would make it so that they might not have to move
At all.
to get some shots on
As long
stuff.
as you got line of sight.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. And then it also could give a squad of regular strike guys, or whatever squad you want, 30-inch range on the Stormbolters, so 15-inch rapid fire.
Yeah, and I remember in 8th edition they were doing a lot of FAQing where your rapid fire range wasn't changing. However, I haven't found those rules being ported over into 9th edition.
I haven't seen anything like that.
So it looks like it's all good to be, 15-inch
It's not that crazy,
still.
but it is
Firing.
a small board in 9th, as we all know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, extra range means you have some more.
And then you can, if you use the stratagem to stand still, count as standing still, and you can rapid fire at 30-inch range there with those ones. So
It is 2 CP, but yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, expensive strats for Grey Knights. But yeah, it can be used for hitting stuff a little further away than you normally would be.
Sure, that's fair.
That's pretty much what it does. The biggest con, well, it's not really a con, but the biggest thing that makes me feel like you might not need this one is that it's not hard to get Grey Knights into your opponent's face.
Yeah.
You have multiple Gate of Infinity, Teleport Strike, and Teleport Shunt. And I mean, Dread Knights move 9 inches just walking.
Yeah.
You don't really need it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Grey Knights, when we've played the games, you're really not out of rapid fire range unless you're
Almost never.
purposely out of rapid fire range.
Right, or if I'm like on the other side of the board, and but I mean, even then, you can almost always get them over there somehow. So basically, this one, it's actually not bad like the other two that I rated lower, but it's just kind of redundant.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
it is redundant. Again, purgation squads. If you love your purgation squad, you might just need a litany to sit around and babysit them.
Yeah, as soon as we get my Chaplain model ready, I'll probably throw in a purgation squad just to see what I can do with it.
See what he can do.
Yeah.
Just gotta find a Crozius.
Yeah, we need Crozius.
I think I know where one is. Sorry.
We'll find
side
it.
tangent. I think I have a spare Crozius laying around.
Extra after the video.
All right, last one. Invocation of Focus.
Maybe I'll just read this top part.
Go for it. Yeah.
Abbreviations in here. So, Grey Knight core and Grey Knight character units within 6 inches. So it's an aura. I forgot to write that, but it's all stuff within 6 of him. Add 1 to Blessings psychic tests. Sweet.
That sounds nice.
So these are the blessings in the book. Gate of Infinity, Sanctuary, Warp Shaping, Astral Aim, Hammer Hand, Armored Resilience, and Ethereal Castigation.
All good ones.
And they are all good. And then all the other I didn't write all the Brotherhood ones out, but there's more blessings in there.
Those are all blessings too.
Not all of them, but
most of them.
A bunch of them are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's good, for sure.
So Hammerhand, Ethereal Castigation, and Warp Shaping are all very good.
Very important for Grey Knights.
Battle, anything that helps you cast those, yeah. Especially the Warp Shaping, because they buffed the cast value on that one.
I think that's actually the only one they didn't.
Oh, but you lost your +1 to cast.
Right, so it's only a 4 for Warp Shaping.
Oh, it is?
I thought it was more as well, but it's only a 4. We'll just make sure here. But still, you can still fail that.
You can still fail that, and it's annoying to spend your CP on something like that.
On the psychic channeling one. Yeah, Warp Shaping is our only Warp Charge 4.
Oh, never mind. But still, yeah, important.
Still.
And it's all units within 6 inches. So maybe you start your table behind some obscuring terrain.
Yep.
And you get all your powers off, and then you send them off the board.
I mean, yeah, it's great for Ethereal Castigation is the Interceptors one. So you assure that you get your move back.
Sure.
Hammerhand, obviously, it's Hammerhand. You know what it is. It's just good.
That's not
It's not insane because it's +1, but
it's support. It's psychic support, which is
we need that.
Which you need.
Yep.
Because you lost your +1 to cast.
I wrote.
Right there. Yeah, Thousand Suns.
Thousand Suns took our +1 to cast, so I think it's super helpful to have it.
So I could see this definitely being a good support one to take. I would put this. I think you put this as your second or your number 2 one, number 3 one.
It's definitely the second strongest.
I like it.
It could maybe get a 7 out of 10. I went for 6 out of 10 because it's just for blessings.
That's true. If you could do that on Smite or Purifying Flame, ooh.
Especially since Crow and Purifiers already get their +1 to Purify. That's too strong.
That's
a lot of wounds.
That's very strong.
Yeah.
Maybe if you had damage 1 smites, then not too bad, but
right.
not anymore.
It's a different time now.
It's a different time. They are scary. So, some final thoughts went over all those litanies. You know, it looks like, I'll just say this before we go through
what do you think?
your takes. Seems like half of them are, if you've got a weird love for purgation squads, then they're there to give you something to go with them.
Make them a little better.
Otherwise, they do what a chaplain does, and they are support.
Yeah.
Now, I know some codexes can make chaplains beat sticks, like Dark Angels, and Blood Angels can turn their chaplains into beat sticks.
I mean, you can make it tankier, as we saw.
Tankier, yeah, but you don't have like damage 4 on them like they can do. And
for the Grey Knight's Codex, all of the relics that would make him do more attack damage in melee, you have to have a Nemesis weapon.
I mean, you don't.
So you can't trade out your Crozius.
No Nemesis Crozius.
Yep.
But so I think I like him. Sure, he's probably not the most competitive because he is lesser than a standard chaplain from other codexes. The Space Marine codexes can all pay 20 points or whatever to make it so he can cast powers or cast litanies on a 2+.
Really?
And they can use that stratagem to auto cast the litany for free.
What?
It's just like the apothecary. You can make the super apothecaries.
Oh, it's points?
It's points upgraded. So a bike, and they're more mobile. They're I think they're equally durable on a bike.
Yeah.
But more mobile on a bike.
Yeah.
So you got 14-inch move or whatever. So
it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate that yours aren't quite as good.
But that is in line with the other stuff for the Grey Knights.
The way it is.
Yeah.
So I like them. I think they'd be good, but yeah, I don't see them taking competitive lists by storm.
Not without the the other Space Marine stuff you just listed. Like,
Yeah.
if I could pay 20 points to make him Inspire on a 2+, that is an auto take.
I think it's 20 points to Inspire and 2+, and you can take the Warlord trait, which lets him do another. Yeah, they've got a lot of things. You got to stack, you got to pay for it, but
I mean, it would be worth it for this.
It makes it very good.
We're Grey Knights, so all of our base stuff is just stronger in general, so they don't want to make it overpowered. I get it.
Yeah.
For me, it's they're 110 points. I wouldn't pay any extra for the gifts or the visions. I mean, I'm sure there's some stuff that could be useful, but I wouldn't, at least so far. The Litany of Expulsion, which is just the reroll hits and melee, is really solid. It already makes it maybe not competitive, but it makes him worth it, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And then we've got the Refrain of Convergence is good. It's the psychic one. The
+1 to cast.
Oh no,
they're removing. Yeah, that one's really good.
It's really good, but again, you're not always gonna get any use out of it. Hard to say. Invocation of Focus. That's the psychic +1 to the blessings. That one is super solid. That is the one I would take if I'm not taking Words of Power.
Yeah.
All the other ones that I didn't just list are not great. I don't know if I'll ever use them. And then finally, we get to the bigger paragraph here. The biggest issue I have with the litany list is Words of Power. And I mean issue because even without the full combo, the 4 things you need for the combo, even with the nerf, the recent FAQ to the Tide of Convergence, this litany is way stronger than everything else.
Seems like
it's just not even close. So Grey Knights, mortal wounds for them are a huge deal. It's their biggest way to kill tanks. In the battle report we just did, the purifiers and they just blew up a tank almost by themselves.
Yeah.
It basically covers their biggest weakness, which is a lack of anti-tank. But if you have this litany going with the Tide of Convergence, you could easily cut through
many tanks.
Just even toughness 8 tanks.
Toughness 8, 9, you don't care.
With a squad of 5 strike guys.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, infantry is just not even, you don't even have to think about that. You just annihilate it.
Yeah, it is really good.
Right? It is
very good.
Yeah.
The other issue I have with it is that your litanies, I mentioned this, your litanies are only on a 3+.
So rough.
And you cannot command point reroll litanies.
No.
So it's tough.
2 CP for the auto.
To auto. So again, it's a command point sink, which Grey Knights are very stretched for.
Yeah.
Which means it's almost like you want to take the one that lets you gain command points, that Warlord trait, just so you have a chance to get them back, because
That's a great point, yeah.
Because you're going to probably use them. If you build a strategy around a chaplain, do you want it only going off 2/3 of the time?
You don't. That's the answer to that.
Because you'll roll a 1 or 2 right when you need it the most, and when you don't need it all, you'll roll your 5s and 6s all day.
When you have a squad of 10 gaunts in front of you, you'll get it off and then you'll just kill them with like 1 attack.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's my problem, and that's why I only take the chaplain with my salamanders when I fully kit it out to make it as reliable as possible, because that's the big issue with them right now, is that they're not reliable.
Otherwise, like you just said, if you don't tech into it or have a specific plan, it's probably just not worth taking, because you already have the Tide of Convergence, so you already have extra mortal wounds.
Yeah, the one thing that would change it for me is if you could reroll litanies.
Oh my!
If you could spend a command point to, because it's just like a worse psychic test.
Yeah.
It's like combining a captain aura and a librarian psychic power.
Yeah.
And making them just not as good.
Yeah, that's true.
It's swing. If you could just spend the command point to reroll litanies,
or just give me that 20-point upgrade. I would do it every game I took a chaplain.
Yeah. Now I get why you don't, because you don't have because those chaplains are like the chaplain of the chapter, and
I totally get it, and I get why my what's it called is 2 and 3 CP, the true silver armor.
Oh, your true silver. Yeah.
I mean, I get it now. I've come to terms with Grey Knights. Their stuff has to be more expensive because their units can do so much.
They can do a lot more.
Yeah. So I get it. I'm very happy that we got the Words of Power, because at least the chaplain has a use.
He does.
If he didn't have that, or if it was less good,
really would never see one.
I would never use a chaplain. But you'll see one
We'll
eventually.
see one. You'll see him. You'll see him on the channel.
Yeah.
So that's we're not gonna ramble too much longer. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, chaplains, they're in a weird spot, unfortunately. Like a lot of the Grey Knight HQs, they are overshadowed by many other options.
Dread Knights.
Dread Knights, Grandmaster Dread Knights.
Grandmaster Dread Knights, yeah.
If you found this video useful and you want to see more, give us some suggestions of what other videos you want us to cover on the Grey Knight Codex or other codexes. We're slowly working on expanding our range of codexes as new ones come out.
Yep.
And subscribe to more of this content because we are oh so close to 1,000 subscribers, and that is our great milestone we're trying to hit. And thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Thanks, guys.